The Kings are really bad at rebuilding. I just need to make this video because ever since the All-Star break, the Kings have been making awful decisions. Ever since the last video I uploaded talking about what the goal should be at the deadline, the Kings have been making bad decision after bad decision. Leave a like and subscribe. We're going to talk about this. I just have to get this off my chest. So, this wasn't the breaking point last night when Malik Monk scored 32 and Precious Achiuwa. These guys went crazy so that we can beat the lowly Brooklyn Nets and pass them up in the standings. We are now 1.5 games back of the third worst record in the league and having the best lottery odds because the bottom 3 teams all have the same odds. We are the only team not trying to lose. That is infuriating. How do I... We have been on a semi-hot streak for the past few seasons, or for the past few games, and ever since that long losing streak, we've been playing okay basketball, which is really bad for draft lottery purposes. But let's see if we can find... Let me just look. Where is it? Lost to Spurs. Finally beat the Grizzlies. Lost to Houston. Beat Dallas. These two teams are tanking, by the way, because their seasons are over. Lost to Lakers. I'm not sure why this isn't updated, but I remember we lost to the Suns. We lost to the Pelicans. We beat the Bulls because we let DeMar and Russell Westbrook play good. The Pacers win. I'll give that. That was strictly the young guys. We put the young guys in because the vets had us down 20, and the young guys, specifically Devin Carter, willed us to victory. Bad win for position in the lottery, but okay, I'll accept it. Lost to Hornets. We beat the Clippers because DeMar DeRozan decided to turn back the clock. And then we beat the Jazz because DeMar DeRozan decided to turn back the clock. These wins mean nothing. The only young guy who really did good in all of these games, like we're seeing great improvement from, is Maxime Reynaud. He's the only thing keeping this season watchable. Lost to the Spurs. Reynaud played good. Lost to the Sixers. We beat the Nets, as I talked about. Why is this website so bad? But we beat the Nets. It was very, very frustrating because we should have lost this game. But then Doug Christie, we should have fired Doug Christie. We should have fired him at the trade deadline. He was brought here to try to win with the roster he was given, albeit I don't think anyone could probably win with that roster. But he was given a bad hand, and we kept him. But we didn't guarantee him a job. We didn't extend him. That's the problem. You either fire him or you extend him. Now he's coaching like his life depends on it, because he's not only trying to prove to the Kings that he can win, he's trying to prove to everyone in the league that'll notice that he has potential. The Kings were the only team willing to give him that chance to be a coach because he hasn't coached high school, he hasn't coached college, I don't even think he's coached the G League. So, what are we doing? Let's take a look at the standings. We are bottom of the West. If we keep playing like this, we are going to pass the Utah Jazz. And we will have the 5th worst record in the league. We're way too far from Chicago. We're way too... I don't know if we're that far from Dallas. But there's only 10 games left. The worst record in the league, it's unattainable. Pacers are awful. Well, they're not even that bad. They are tanking like no one has before. And no one's calling them out on it. It's insane. Against the Kings, they sat every player that was cooking except Aaron Nesmith to close the game because they were up 20 and they did not want to win that game. The Wizards have also been doing this. They've been trading for injured guys. But this team, and this team, they all are trying to lose because they want to keep their pick because their picks are only top 8 protected. The Nets just blatantly tanked last night. If I can find... Where'd it go? If I can find the box score. Finally found it. They blatantly tanked last night. Where is it? They, of course, this site doesn't show the DNPs. Claxton didn't play. MPJ was out, but whatever. You're supposed to do that when you're tanking. But it was egregious. They were benching guys, and we just trot DeMar out there for 30 minutes. Reynaud, yes, give him all the minutes. We trot Precious Achiuwa out there. We trot, where is he? Malik Monk for 30 minutes. I know Nick Clifford got injured. And I think Killian Hayes also got injured. But it's like you're not even trying. It's very upsetting. Because just 2 weeks ago, we were the worst team in the league by like 2-3 games. And suddenly, it's all gone. Because the other teams know the assignment. All the other teams have realized what game we're playing. They start playing that new game. The Kings think we're still playing the old game. Everyone started playing chess. We just think everyone's still playing checkers. And then we're wondering, oh, wow, we're pretty good at this checkers thing because we keep beating the teams that are focused on chess. This is where the Kings stand right now. You have the Pacers up here, Washington up here, Brooklyn, Sacramento. Only team you could realistically catch is Brooklyn. And that is only if you lose the next time you play them, which is in a week. They have a game against the Wizards, and I believe they have a game against Indiana. They might have a game against Utah, I'm not sure. But they have some games against tanking teams. You have to lose that game, though. So how bad do you really want it? Now, I can forgive the Kings for winning games, because overall it sets a bad precedent if you're trying to lose games. Oh yeah, another thing. I saw Brooklyn. Go look at the last shot they took in their game against the Knicks that just happened. And tell me they're not trying to lose. And look at the bench's reaction after that. It's disgusting. We are by far the worst team in the league because we don't have to try to be bad. We're just bad. We're barely scraping by against the Pacers who are trying to lose. Against the Wizards a few weeks ago, we trotted Zach LaVine and DeMar out there. We were trying so hard to win and we lost. We barely scraped by Brooklyn. We barely scraped by Utah. Both of those teams were trying to lose. If we are trying our hardest to beat these teams and we are barely winning, yes, we are the worst team in the whole league. Now, I can forgive them because the draft, it's a crapshoot. However, what I can't forgive is what I'm seeing online. The Kings have interest in Darius Acuff and have him pretty darn high on their draft board. Darius Acuff. Let me just find the mock draft. Where is he ranked? He's ranked 8th on here. He's 6'3". He's not 6'3". I promise you he is no taller than 6'2" if you watch him play. He is a phenomenal offensive player. I will give him that. But pretty darn high is scaring me. Because I don't think he's a better prospect than Kingston Flemings. I don't think he's a better NBA prospect than Michael Brown Jr. I would rather have both of those guys if we are going to pick a point guard. pretty darn high scares me because if we get in the top 3 and the first pick, AJ's off the board, and if we have a chance to pick Darren Peterson or Darius Acuff, I'm scared we're going to pick Acuff. I don't want to pick Acuff. You have a chance. This draft class, the top 5, these are pretty solid. Like, I'd be very surprised if they didn't work out in the NBA. Anything after that, you're basically taking a chance, but they are good prospects. And this is what scared me. An anonymous GM has AJ Demancia ranked 1, Caleb Wilson ranked 2, and Darius Acuff ranked 3. I am 95% sure this is the Kings GM. From everything we've learned, at the beginning of the season, the GM, he hinted, or heard people around Sac Media, they heard that we would take AJ if we were given the number 1 pick. I have seen this GM go and watch multiple Caleb Wilson games. And Acuff's coach was at the game last night. And all this Acuff talk now, it's scaring me that you're going to pass up on potentially Cam Boozer, who's phenomenal. I'm way higher on him now than I was a few months ago. Darren Peterson and Kingston Flemings. You're telling me you would pass up on those 3 to pick Darius Acuff? And I'm not hating on Acuff. I think he's going to be a great NBA player. But I don't think he's the guy to build your roster around. And especially because the Kings finally, my apologies, the Kings finally seem to have a good young player in Maxime Reynaud. Wouldn't you want to give him a good pick and roll guard that can preferably defend? Because we know Reynaud's not the best defender right now. We hope he can turn into one. But why on earth would you pick the guy with the worst defensive upside and the worst defensive floor? Out of all of these prospects, he has the lowest floor in the NBA. And potentially the lowest ceiling. Honestly, his ceiling might be Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's good. Is he a top 10 player? I wouldn't rank him that high. If you want to be extremely high on Acuff, you could say his ceiling is slightly below prime Steph Curry. That's great, isn't it? He's going to have to learn to play off ball more often. And we are going to have to create an insane roster around him for it to succeed. Something I don't trust that the Kings can do. I think all of the top 5 guys are easier to build around. I think Michael Brown Jr. is probably easier to build around. I would even take Phylon over him, who's a year older, but still. You need bigger guys. Now I have to hope and pray the Kings get a top 2 pick. Because if they don't, they're gonna do something stupid like pick Acuff 3rd overall. Acuff can win the Natty this year. He could average 40 points. Is he gonna do that in the NBA? I don't know. I'm not gonna try and guess if he can. But it's just the process behind this. Everyone in the world has the top 3 being AJ, Boozer, Peterson. So if this is the Kings GM, why on earth is this your top 3? It's ridiculous. Acuff is cool. Like, I love the highlights. I love what he's doing. But every guy that endorses him is like a warning sign. I've seen Kendrick Perkins endorse him. A couple other guys on ESPN. Usually when they're high on a guy, they're usually wrong. And the Kings being interested should be a warning sign. I have a feeling, I hope and pray that this is Vivek's interest, because this is exactly the type of guy he would be interested in over the other guys. Please do not screw this up. I don't even feel like talking about basketball until I see how this turns out. That's why most of my content, every video has been about the Kings, because I'm too invested in this team. They need to have a good startup. They could screw it all up this year by picking Acuff third. And they might not even get the third pick, which is even more scary because they don't know how to tank properly. We're going to sim this 3 times just to see where the Kings land. And we'll leave it at that. Okay, 4th pick. 5th pick, so we'd probably end up picking Acuff. Oh, 7th. See, if we fall to 7th or 8th, that's fine. Go ahead and pick Acuff. He's probably the best player there. If Brown Jr. or Phylon's there, I would pick Phylon or Brown Jr. But that's just me. I can understand if you're picking Acuff like that low. Just don't pick him higher than anyone has him. Alright? Alright. We'll leave it at that. Leave a like and subscribe. Next Kings video is probably going to be end of the season to recap, give my thoughts. And then the next one's probably going to be during the draft lottery and a reaction and who I think we should pick. Obviously, if you follow my Instagram, Angry Kings Fan, you probably already know my thoughts on this draft. But, oh geez, the Kings are scaring me. And I really hope we don't screw this up.